What is going on, America? Welcome to the Cajun Libertarian Live. I am your host, the Cajun Libertarian. Tonight we'll be talking with Kristine Womack, who is running for the chair of the Pennsylvania State Libertarian Party. So tune in. It's going to be an awesome conversation. Let's have some fun right now on the Cajun Libertarian Live. Yes. Welcome back to the Cajun Libertarian Live. Tonight we'll be talking with Kristine Womack about what she's going to do to advance the Libertarian Party for the state of Pennsylvania as she runs for chair. And don't forget to follow me on Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, basically anywhere that you can catch a podcast. Leave a 5-star review, comment a review, and help me get paid, right? I get like a cent a download. So we're rolling in the money. Rolling in it. About $13. So every time you listen to, and remember that those platforms, you don't have to keep it open. If you don't want to listen live, you don't want to keep your phone open, you can always just catch me on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, basically anywhere where you can get your podcasts launched from Anchor FM. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's bring Kristine on.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing very well, thank you. Other than the technical difficulties that happened at the beginning, that's fine. I got to work with a little wire here, which isn't normal. But hey, look, we're here. We're rocking and rolling. So that makes my heart happy. How are you?
I'm doing good. Had a long day. We were supposed to get an ice storm today here. It didn't really happen, but and I was supposed to go on a bowling trip with the school I work with, and that didn't happen because of the ice storm that was supposed to come. So it was just a lot of day of changes and difficulties. So having some technical difficulties seems fitting.
It's par for the course today, for sure. Joseph P. Solosky, Sloski, running for governor. Yeah,
there it is.
Right behind you.
Yep,
That's
right
it. Yeah. What's up, Joe? I love that dude. He is a fantastic human. Just a genuinely nice guy. Pennsylvania is just stacked with incredible people. And there's Sam Robb popping in as well. Freedom.
Another incredible person. Yeah.
My friend, met Sam. Great dude. Nothing's on fire, so you're ahead of the game. Sam, don't jinx us. There may be a fire now that you've said it. Who knows? If something catches on fire, I'll be sure to get the guns and ammo out first, but we'll try to finish the episode.
No, you lost us in a boating accident. All guns are lost in boating accidents.
That just happened.
It just happened. Right before the fire.
Right before the fire. So I don't have to worry about the guns and ammo because they drowned in the lake just now. So we'll get the kids out, okay, first. I was going to say guns and ammo first. They're in the lake now. So instead of that, we'll do the kids first. That's dark humor there. That is totally unacceptable. This is the Cajun Libertarian Live, and I do nothing that is unacceptable. Joseph P. Solosky says, Kristine Womack, the best campaign manager on earth. That's a fantastic compliment.
It is a fantastic compliment, especially, since my time is being diverted right now between many other things. I'm still trying to make sure that the campaign stay as a top priority as well. So speaking of another person.
That's Nicole Schultz. Yep. We've talked frequently. Hey, Nicole. Fantastic. So you clearly got your plate absolutely full. How are you able to manage so much at once and be so efficient at it at all the time?
I get asked that question a lot. Matt Wright asked me that when I was on his show the one time. And it really comes down to having a supportive team and a very, very supportive husband. He picks up the slack where I can't. And, with the many things that I do in the Libertarian Party, but also in my community and in my son's school, it's all about building the best team around you, because getting stuff done is not a one-person job. It's teamwork, and it's working with people that have different opinions, different viewpoints, perspectives, and just finding a way to work cohesively together.
You ain't lying. That's a fantastic answer. And I'm gonna throw this up here real quick, Nicole. Y'all just got a lot of great comments. I can't put every comment up there, right? But
I mean, that's inaccurate. That's an accurate comment. So
yeah, she has amazing candidates. So we'll dive off into y'all's commentary and all that. Let's jump right into basically what is on everybody's mind when it comes to the state of Pennsylvania. And really, honestly, what should be on everybody's mind in the state of Pennsylvania is the fact that we elected, like 160-something candidates this past year?
176.
Okay, I thought it was 167. I'm being dyslexic there. I thought it was 170. Okay. So 176 candidates. That should be our focus, but yet still here we are with a lot of people focused on the wrong thing, or it may not be the wrong things, right? But it's not the positive things. And if we want to have the most best outcome for anything in life, everything that we're doing, we must be focused positively. So, but we also must address the things that aren't as positive. So let's dive right into what I would imagine everybody wants to hear. And so go. What is what is your answer? There is no answer really, in my opinion. What is your goal? What is your idea? How do you plan to bring Pennsylvania within the Libertarian Party kind of together and heal and mend some of the broken wounds that have happened over the course of the last couple of years?
I think the first thing that needs to happen is everyone needs to realize that we are the party of individualism, and that we're not all going to have the same opinions, same goals, same platform things that we want to see done. And that's okay. It takes different people and different ways of communication to reach all kinds of other people. The ways that I do outreach isn't going to work what's best for Joe Slosky. I mean, he and I are pretty much on the same page, but just as a random example, I think the end right question that you're asking here is how are we going to get all the different caucuses and all the different backgrounds of people to work together? And I specifically am caucus agnostic. I believe that they all have a place and all have a purpose in the party. At the end of the day, I also believe that I think we're a small party, and I also believe that we are a small party, and shrinking ourselves into different things can have a negative side, which it obviously has in the scope of our political world right now.
Right.
But I think realizing that each one of those caucuses has a purpose and has a unique reach to the people that they reach out to is what's needed to be noticed. Mises Caucus has a great outreach with bringing in people from like the Ron Paul era and things like that. And then you've got like the Cathedral Caucus that tends to reach on the other side of the spectrum and find those liberty-driven people on the other side of the spectrum. And, there's the Waffle House, there's the Get Fit, there's so many different caucuses, and they all bring different people together. Like there's people in the Get Fit Caucus that are from all various sides, and the whole caucus is about lifting each other up. And there's no negativity. It's about encouraging each other on your goals with physical health. And I think if we take that same mindset that the LP Get Fit Caucus has and apply it to just the way we run the LP, we will see so much more success. We'll see so much more ballot access in the different states and across the country. And that's what the end goal is. We are a political party. We're built up of individuals who want to see liberty sometime in their life. And the only way that we can do that is by working together.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I cannot agree more. That's why I'm trying to be a voice that can bridge the gap between some of the toxicity that's been happening. I hate to call it that, but at the end of the day, I don't know what else to call it because it is what it is, exactly. Yep. And so I think it's important that we address not just your state, right? Like we need all of the states to kind of come together and mend this and heal and come together. But I understand that there's a lot going on in Pennsylvania, specifically with the Mises Caucus. I mean, I know that's what it is, and we have a great opportunity in March to really make progressive moves in that department. And I want to absolutely stress that it is on each of us. It is our responsibility as individuals, like you said at the beginning, because we're all individuals, to make sure that we are being in the most mature and loving state that we can be. Because at the end of the day, whatever caucus you're a part of, we want liberty and we want freedom. And the best way to do that is to get candidates that think not high-minded, but like-minded for us. So I understand that's one of the big things for you. If you become state chair, is being able to get candidates elected to positions. Now, I know that Jennifer did a great job in the Moulton maneuver. How do you plan to continue that, or do you have better plans to get more libertarians elected to state office than the Moulton maneuver?
So Jen did an amazing job. I mean, she spearheaded it, like testing the waters out in, I believe, 2017, or at least I know for sure 2019, where she put a lot of her own money into getting the Moulton maneuver kind of like some backstory so people could trust the procedure. Right. So we had 176 elected this past November. Of those, about 60, I want to say, were write-in campaigns. The rest were on the ballot. And some were in three-way races, which is amazing. And my goal for 2022 is to encourage people in different counties to go out and get appointed to some of these positions that had no one running. Because if you just show up and you say, hey, I'm interested in being the inspector of elections, or hey, I'm interested in being that auditor that didn't get filled, they will look for someone to fill that spot, and that could be a libertarian. And then moving forward to this year's election cycle, we have candidates that are running for the nomination in March for governor, lieutenant governor, U.S. Senate. And then we have a bunch that'll be running in their own local counties for their nomination for congressional districts, like Liz Terwilliger. I can never say her name. I love you, Liz.
That's the best response.
She's been running a really hard campaign, getting out there and doing community outreach. I'm actually doing a thing with her at the end of this month where she's doing like a homeless tent out, like exposure thing to show how, the homeless live, and to try and raise funds and what have you. So, my goal for 2022 is to get as many people on to run congressional races, even if they're just paper ballots. And I know some people don't like that, and that's fine. But here's the thing, we need to normalize libertarians being on the ballot. So if that means that we just have someone who's like, hey, you can throw my name on that, we'll do it. That normalizes libertarians being on the ballot. And then I also want to work with counties on setting up for 2023, because my goal is that we can set it up that we have over 300 libertarians elected in 2023 for local offices. And what we're planning on doing here in York County, at least, that I would like to expand to the rest of the state, is we want to try and get not just Moulton maneuver candidates where it's someone running uncontested or no one's running at all, but also those contested races, even if it, again, is just a paper ballot, because it's normalizing the names of libertarians being on the ballot. So, for example, my husband could run for state rep. And well, he can't, and that's a whole other story, but just for craps and giggles, he ran for state rep, but then also run for borough council. He may not win state rep, but they will have seen libertarian along with Republican and Democrat on the state rep side. And that's how we're going to win over 300 races in 2023. So I do have goals set up, and I have a bunch of people who are interested in doing these things from all sides of the spectrum. I mean, I work with people from all sides. And I think that that's key in going forward and making sure that we look forward to ballot access and getting at least 2%, if not significantly more, on the gubernatorial, lieutenant gubernatorial, and U.S. Senate races so that we maintain minor party status in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I mean, and that would be absolutely fantastic. And here's a great question by Ryan. I'm not even going to attempt that last name.
What?
Yes, I am. Burinsky.
Yep, it's Burinsky.
There you go. I was a little less confident, but I went for it. How would you handle a petition drive to get Libertarians on the ballot for Congress?
I have to look up the specifics because I have not worked a petition drive. And since there's 2 seats, even though one's technically, there's no one running for, he's not running for re-election. We would work with the counties to make sure that when we're collecting signatures for Joe Solosky and Nicole Schultz, who I hope are the candidates, I'm being honest and optimistic here, that when we're collecting, we're not doing double work. Everyone who is to be wanting to be on the ballot in that specific area of the state should be on those petitions. So if Eric Gerhardt wins for U.S. Senate, his name is on there, along with Joe Solosky, Nicole Schultz, or whoever wins the nomination in March. I will work for the record, whether my candidates win or not. I will work for whoever to get on that ballot. Because my end goal is that we are a political party. We are supposed to be trying to get people elected to office to help spread the message of liberty. So making sure that every single person who's running for office in that specific area of the state is on that petition, and reaching out and trying to get paid petitioners and volunteer petitioners, and giving them the resources on how they can collect those signatures. In 2020, for Joe Jorgensen's campaign, I was actually the top volunteer signature collector. And I did that because I had a team around me. I had my husband, I had people from York, I had people that were traveling with Spike and myself across Eastern PA. So while my name was technically the top, it was because of the teamwork that happened. And that's what we need to do, is give those resources out so that we can accomplish that again this year.
I cannot tell you how. You already know, right? So I'm not telling you. I'm just talking. Can I tell you how much it is important that you have a spouse that is on your side? I can empathize. I feel that so much, because there's no way I could do this if my wife wasn't on board. So when we're talking about teammates first and foremost, wow, your spouse, your significant other, that is absolutely crucial. And so it also seems like you've got good experience in developing a really good and talented and inspired team around you. And that's always going to be a bonus, because none of this stuff we can do by ourselves, y'all. There's no way. There's no way we can do any of this by ourselves. So one of the best things about being a leader, or one of the most important things about being a leader, is being able to attract people to you in order for you to build a successful team. Because doing this alone, unbelievable, not possible. It's all.
Not. And to be honest with you, I try and move this over into all aspects of my life. I mean, I'm PTO president at my son's school, and we're all moms of elementary students. So, I mean, it can be, a little hostile, or sometimes, differing of opinions on how to do things. But at the end of the day, our goal is to make sure these kids have the resources that they need in the school and have the fun that they want in the school. And finding a way to work together to make that happen is, key. And my husband, he's amazing. He's dressed up as the Grinch for these kids back in December, So he doesn't just support me on the level of libertarianism. I mean, he dresses up and goes full character. So that's definitely having a spouse who is 100% behind you and beside you is key with anything.
No question. It's impossible. You just can't do it, right? If my spouse wasn't behind me 100%, this would be to be shut the whole thing down, because first and foremost, we got to be here in our homes together in order to create a good team. And it sounds like you've got the right foundation, and you've done it before to create a good team. I'm not going to be able to get around this, right? So I'm going to just go ahead and put it up here, because he will absolutely throw it up here 1,000 times until I say something about it.
Goodness gracious, Joel Getz.
You already know.
Talk about people that I work with, despite maybe having odd feelings about.
For those of y'all, for the people that are going to be listening later and they're going to be audio only, this is Joel Getz. He was a politician running in. He's not a politician, but he ran for office.
He's actually running for Eastern Vice Chair of the state of Pennsylvania in March. So,
oh, really? Okay. Yeah. So he's just keep fueling. He's asking about turkey bacon and if you like it.
first off, I'd like to say that I unfortunately have Joel on my Joe Solosky team.
I already know.
But turkey bacon is not real bacon.
No, it's
turkey
not.
bacon is not real bacon. So
it's the only appropriate answer.
It's regular bacon. I've seen people talk about beef bacon and Canadian bacon. Those are not all. There's only one bacon. So
pork bacon.
In fact,
Excellent.
I had it on my cheese fries for dinner tonight.
Nice. Oh, of course, cheese fries with bacon. Absolutely. Joel is not a real libertarian. So I know you talked a little bit about community outreach and what Liz Terwilliger is doing and with the homeless. And Liz is one of the most inspirational and just foot to gas volunteers that I think I've ever heard of. It's pretty remarkable. What are you planning to do about community outreach? Obviously going to be working with Liz, but what else do you got going on?
So I'm actually the community organizer for York County. So along with everything else I do. So Liz and I were actually going to be doing a community outreach speaking spot at convention. We're going to do a speaking spot at convention. However, I stepped down from that, and my husband is taking over to talk about our community outreach. But what we do in York, and what I want to try and encourage others to do throughout the state, is we do trash cleanups throughout the downtown. Nice. and big areas where there's, the need for it. We've also fed the homeless downtown York. There's a organization down there called York's Giving Helping Hands, and they feed the homeless there every Saturday and Sunday. Nice. Even on holidays, they do it every week. And so, I want to incorporate in helping them more. We also set up at street fairs and carnivals and have a table there with ways to bring children. It sounds really bad. I feel like I'm like luring children to me. But,
no, we get it. No.
When I tell you that it's with candy, it makes it a little worse.
And a weird van.
We have this pegboard that we shove Dum Dum Pops in that has our affiliate logo on it. And then the kids have a chance of winning a balloon is what we've done in the past. And then the kids see the lollipop and the balloons, and then we get the parents in there to talk to them. And we make sure we have specific literature that we have for our affiliates that we hand out. Nice. And that's something I want to encourage all the other affiliates in the state to make up, even if it's just printed at Staples and you order 50 of them. Something to have on hand to hand out. We did multiple parades in the fall. In Dallastown, where I live, we did our parade, and we actually got 3 Libertarians elected in Dallastown alone.
Beautiful.
So, and there's 14 in total in York. So we actually won 3rd place in the one parade that we did, and won like $50 for being a part of the parade. So, we also did a food drive and collected over 700 pounds of food for the local food bank with the local baseball team, the York Revolution. So when we did that, they actually gave us a free table inside of the
nice.
The walk around, and we're able to talk to people throughout the game, and they let us be first dibs to participate in the between inning games. So it was Kristine with the Libertarian Party of York and Tim with the Libertarian Party of York. So they kept hearing that name. Oh, you're welcome. So
Thank you for helping in Lancaster.
So one of the main things that we do also is that we make sure to create a relationship with our neighboring counties. So we do a lot with Lancaster because they do a ton. We do a lot with Lebanon. And then Tim is our affiliate chair chair of the affiliate support, McMaster. And he started these twin sister county things. And so actually, I believe Liz's county, Bradford, I think, is our twin city. So the goal is to try and have them connect and do things together as we move forward. And that's something as chair that I want to help to encourage, is working together as counties, because that's going to help bridge the divide too. Because, there are some counties that are more Mises. There are some counties that are more cathedral. There's some counties that are non-caucus. Up until January of 2020, or 2021, January 2021, I had never heard of caucuses in York County. We just never had them.
Nice.
I never heard of any of these caucuses. So there are some counties that still don't really have any, and there's some that are overrun by one or the other, for whatever outreach. And so by working together with our neighboring counties, we're able to build that bridge to show that we're just people working towards the same goal, which is liberty.
Right. So when you're talking about bridging counties together, caucus or not, caucus aside, you're talking about doing a really a great job of landscaping all across the state. How do you intend to really be effective in proper communication throughout the state between these counties? Because I've noticed a lot of what some of our issues are is communication, right? Communication is a really, really hard subject for us. It's something that we fail at miserably. So how do you plan to make sure that we're all on the same page? And I say we're all, I mean, Pennsylvania, between counties, for you, the board, all of that. What's your plan for that?
One of the main things that I want to do is I would like to have virtual office hours outside of the regular board meeting, at least once a month, depending on, how hectic the schedule is for myself and others in the state. I think asking the committees to have some office hours, like membership has office hours. I'm part of the membership committee, and Sally does membership office hours. And then IS, or Information Services, have office hours. And I think having those committees open so that people can get that information so that they can better improve their counties is going to open a lot of the bridges. And then, some people do it already, but having a virtual option to county meetings, I know it can be a little difficult, but it allows for people to see how other counties run and function and allow them the opportunity to kind of show support in what's happening in the different counties, and maybe add, some insight or some options or opinions on how to do certain events. So I think encouraging the counties to have that kind of virtual component, if they would be willing to or have the capabilities, would be a good way to help bridging the counties as well. Because we in York have a lot of people who come from Lebanon and Lancaster and Capital area down to our meetings, and I don't go to Lancaster's meetings because I have PTO the same night. Right. But, a lot of people from York and Lebanon go to Lancaster's meetings, and we go to Lebanon, and some go to Berks. Having that visibility and making those connections is going to help. Like for this example, I don't know a lot of the people on the western side of the state. I live in York, Pennsylvania, which is like 45 minutes north of Baltimore. So,
wow.
Yeah. So getting to the western side for, Pittsburgh, Erie, things like that just doesn't happen that often unless it's for a specific thing. So this weekend, my family and I are actually making the trip to the western side of the state so that we can meet with some of the affiliates over there and meet with some of the people so that they can get to know me and my family and who I am versus just word of mouth or what they see during a board meeting or anything, because that's the only way you can really get to know people is by having an actual conversation.
Yeah, that's spot on. Absolutely correct. There's no way that you can actually affect real change among communities, and especially within your personal community, if people only know you from a distance. You have to be upfront with them, close, be personable. It's just absolutely part of it. And so another issue that is really going to require you to be very personal, not just you, but all of us, right? There's no way we can just live our lives online, which, by the way, online, Kenny Johnson, you're asking how you can follow Kristine. There it is, at Kristine Womack for LPPA Chair on Facebook. You want to plug any other sites that they can follow you?
Honestly, I just have it on Facebook. I believe that getting the word out there is best by doing it in person. So I have Facebook because that's the most used platform, and I have easy access to it. But again, I'm a person who just tries to live my life by what I would want other people to live by, to be honest.
Of course.
I really think that I don't like to just talk the talk. I like to walk the walk too. And so if I tell people that they should be going to other counties and helping others and reaching out and trying to build those bridges, I want to show them that I'm doing it too. So
absolutely, you have to be boots on the ground for this stuff. This is not something you can do from a distance. People need to see you. They need to hear you. They need to feel your presence in real time, right? Because that's how ultimately, that's how we gain trust, is by having a connection in real time and understanding that you have integrity, any elected position at all, be it county dog catcher or state organizer, or freaking running for Congress like Liz Terwilliger. Here's Sam Robb trying to drop her link in there.
And
Yeah,
you should
here's Sam Robb.
absolutely drop that. And
Liz Terwilliger for Congress.
joeslawski.com and NicoleSchultz.com.
Yeah, right, exactly. Kenny, pin social media links so we can start following. Sorry, man, I forgot to let my team know that we were doing this. Usually what happens is I have a team, and well, I always have a team, and they will pin that stuff to the top. My bad. We'll get it to you though, so that everybody can follow. And Kenny says we like her. That's always awesome. Levi says Kristine is the queen of outreach. We got a lot of comments rolling in. Steve Sheets, always a pleasure. I rode for 3.5 hours. Steve Sheets bought me my first real Philly cheesesteak when I was in Philadelphia for Liz Terwilliger's campaign. Yep. First, we were downtown Philly. First time I'd ever been there. Bought me an authentic cheesesteak. Thank you. I love Steve Sheets, man. This is you guys have such an absolute all-star lineup up there. It's pretty freaking amazing, which really is why it's not a secret. It shouldn't be a shocker that you guys have the most libertarians elected to office. And so that's one of your main goals, I believe. One of your big sticking points is supporting libertarians that are in office. So tell us how you plan to do that.
So we started, Sam Robb is on part of that. We started a candidate support program as a way to try, because let's step back for a second. We've had the most elected libertarians, but that's the first time this has ever really happened. So there's resources and there's information and there's questions, and we're trying to find the answers to all of those and establish those resources for those candidates. And so Sam has been working on this candidate support aspect so that we would be able to tell people when they have to file for, financial stuff, or, when they need to swear in for their office and who they need to get sworn in by. And then for those running for office, having the paperwork ready, because I learned this back in August or July, because we're minor party status in Pennsylvania, that's different than third party status. Because we heard Jen Moore and Dan Wasmer and Joe Slolowski and I think it was just those three earned us over 2% and I think Joe did too, or she got close. All of our candidates in 2020 earned us minor party status for the next year by hitting over 2% of the vote. So that changes the paperwork that we are required to submit to run for office. So having that information, Jen Moore was crucial in me helping my candidates in getting elected here in York and in neighboring counties to make sure that they had the right paperwork. I was texting and emailing her when I was standing in the election office saying, hey, they're saying it's this paperwork. And that's not what I was told, or it was under the impression. And she's literally emailing it to me that moment. And having those resources in a centralized place is what's going to be most beneficial, especially going forward with trying to get 300 plus elected in 2023. So we are working on building that centralized hub, kind of like a little library of candidate support, so that we can answer those questions and be better informed moving forward.
So with that being said, that's a lot of consolidation in trying to really channel things into one specific direction when you're talking about allocating all of this information into one direction. How do you plan on being able to facilitate that and oversee that to where all these communications are really heard and then really fleshed out and having them apply?
I mean, we can't make people do anything. I mean, no one wants to file the paperwork with the state. I mean, it's the state. We want to get rid of it, or at least eliminate it as much as possible. Yes, but at the end of the day, to fix the game, we need to play the game. And so there are paperwork and files and things that need to be done. And it's going to it's going to have to be put together by people who see that as their vision. I mean, we talked about it earlier that there's people who have a certain goals and aspirations within the party, and there's some that don't see it as crucial. You know, we need to find those people that see having people elected and having the paperwork ready for them as a key resource on those committees for candidate support and affiliate support and things of that nature, so that we can build that information. And then it's just the administrative work of it and making sure that we have the library aspect, whether it be some special thing or just a Google Drive that everyone has access to, that we can reach out to those documents and get them to the candidates in a timely fashion. It really comes down to finding and building those teams with a variety of people from all kinds of backgrounds that want to be a part of that. I mean, again, we can't make people. There's a lot of misconceptions when it comes to being the chair, especially in the last year of what Jen can do. And Jen has had a really, really tough year, just with all of the lack of another word, toxicity in the state and what have you. It's just been a really big struggle. And the chair has certain responsibilities and duties, but one of them is that she can't make, or he or she can't make committees do stuff. You can't make people, especially in the Libertarian Party, we're individuals. You can't make us do anything. But showing that you're a part of that process and walking the walk, for lack of another term at the moment, is going to be the way that you show other people that we can work together and that there's a end goal in sight. It's not a do as I say, not as I do kind of aspect. It's do as I say and as I do, because that's what's going to be the best for the party.
Yeah, you're always going to have to lead by example. You're always going to have to, be the first one out. If you want to be an effective leader, then what we have to do is always make sure we're putting our foot first forward. I want to address this comment real quick. So Jackie Chan, we are a family program here. I try to refrain from that. I get caught up in ranting sometimes, but anyway. So how come voting reform isn't a big libertarian platform? It's hard for us to be represented without voting reform. You are absolutely correct, Jackie Chan. Not real Jackie Chan, but the Jackie freaking Chan. For sure. But see, that depends on the state. Every state is going to be different. Correct me if I'm wrong, Kristine, but Pennsylvania, you guys got to have an RCV system, or at least in some areas you have ranked choice voting. In other areas of the country, there's ranked choice voting, right? So ballot access or voting reform isn't really required as much as it would be, say, in a just straight up electoral state like my state, where we do need voting reform.
Right.
So what you're talking about is something on a massive national scale that is going to differ from state to state. That does not diminish the value of your question nor the value of voting reform. We absolutely do need that, but wow, that's going to stretch all the way across the 48, the lower 48 plus, everywhere else as well. So that's going to have to come within the state legislatures. So if you're looking for something within your state, Jackie freaking Chan, then I would reach out to your legislators, find out what exactly and how exactly your voting is in that state, and then you will move forward from there. Is there anything I missed there?
I would like to just add something. I had said earlier that caucuses have a reason and a goal within the party. And I think that this is something that a PAC or a caucus can help to have done. Because at the end of the day, we're a political party. And our goal is to get people elected and get the message of liberty out. But also it is to promote platforms. So when I was running Tim McMaster's special election campaign, we were working with fair districts on trying to end gerrymandering in the state. A lot of libertarians obviously support ending gerrymandering, but it's not something that the Libertarian Party necessarily puts forth as an effort to do, because it's not just a libertarian issue. So finding those organizations that work together and becoming a part of their movement is going to show them that we as libertarians support that movement, and that's going to give them that feeling that they can back Libertarian candidates. When we did fair districts, Tim and I walked from City Island all the way to the Capitol in Harrisburg with them. I was leading Cadence and showing them that it isn't just Republicans or Democrats that support their reform or support their movement is really going to open the door to the Libertarian Party and, give them other candidates that they can back. And this goes the same with, we had cannabis legalization that we did here in Pennsylvania, where we had Tim McMaster was there doing stuff with Nicole Schultz. Got to meet our current lieutenant governor. Nice. The Mises Caucus guys were out in Philly doing a Don't Tread on Philly thing regarding mandates. By having our presence shown at these different things, it's going to show that libertarians believe in these things as well. So I would recommend finding some kind of organization, because I guarantee it's out there. I think Represent Us does a lot of stuff in voting reform. I think it's what it's called. And finding those organizations and becoming a part of them and saying, I am with the Libertarian Party of XXX. And that sounded bad and dirty. I'm with the Libertarian Party of said county in said state. And, and I want to help you with getting this in front of your legislature. And I think that that's the way that we get the Libertarian Party involved in voter reform or in legalization or in criminal rights, felons' rights and things like that, is by becoming involved in their organization and showing that we're taking an interest in what they're doing, and so that they can take an interest in what we're doing.
Right. You fleshed the rest of that out really well. Thank you. We do have some breaking news real quick.
Oh, goodness.
So let's dive into that. It's not bad. It's actually good. Avery Rumberger, I hope I said that right. I'm sold. I'm dropping out of the race for LPPA Chair, and I wholeheartedly support Kristine. She has the drive, the ability, the personality, and the communication skills that are all important. Number 2 from Avery, I simply can't compete. I'm so happy that there's someone who's willing to put in so much time and effort into the party. Thank you, Kristine. So it looks like it's down to 2.
I mean, technically there's 3. John Waldenberger did announce that he was running for chair. He just hasn't been as outwardly spoken about it. But Avery and I worked together on the Joe Jorgensen campaign, and we announced our runs for chair 30 minutes apart.
Wow.
He announced 26 minutes is what it was when I was going to post my announcement.
That's incredible.
And, so to have his support, and he's doing amazing things in youth outreach, and he is an asset in this party. I'm crying a little bit, so I apologize.
No, don't apologize. That's awesome.
He's an asset in this party, and that's why when it was talked about having all the chairs on your show, I wanted to make sure that he got a spot too, because him having a voice and being able to talk about the things he's doing in youth outreach is very crucial and very important to the growth of the party. He and I talked, and we have some old heads in the party, to be honest. And some are stuck in their ways, and we need to start reaching out to the youth, because at the those old heads, I hate to say it that way, but that's the only
old guard.
The old guard.
The old guard.
They may not see liberty or libertarian elected to a high office in their day, but by opening those gates and opening those doors for the younger youth, we're going to see such great strides. And my 7-year-old will probably see it at some time in his life, and that's why I do what I do. I come from a very political family. My grandmother, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to say this online. My grandmother was a tax collector for 45 years. She was very respected in her field, and she helped get some judges and representatives and everything elected here in York County as Republicans. I see it as kind of what she was trying to move for the Republican Party in our family is what I'm trying to do for the Libertarian Party. And I have so much respect for Avery for everything that he is doing and has done and is wanting to do. And so I'm very...
No, that's amazing. Clearly he has a ton of respect for you, and that is just remarkable to have. And look, it's no easy... I want this to be about Kristine, okay, everyone? Please understand that what I'm about to say is about Kristine and about the guests that come on, right? This is no easy task, right? To get on here online live, pre-recorded is one thing. To get on here live and be able to articulate and do the things that you want to do and express yourself, not just that, but to do it in a way that obviously displays character, care, and integrity, and then to have one of your, not opponents, but somebody that you're running against to come on here and say also live that, hey, you've got it. You've got more than I've got, and I think you're the best person for the job. That is something truly special. It's obviously truly special for me, but it's way more truly special for you. And I think it's truly special for Avery as well, because that's not something that's easy to do. So what we're witnessing in real time is absolutely special. And I can't give Kristine or Avery enough credit for this this moment that we're having right here. It's absolutely remarkable. Avery, you're a fantastic human being, obviously.
100%.
Luke,
can I talk about Avery for a second?
Do it.
He worked on the Joe Jorgensen campaign, and he couldn't even vote in the election. He stepped up to work on the campaign. Wow. And he could not even vote in the election because that's how dedicated he was in trying to spread the word of liberty. And, he and I have very similar outlooks when it comes to the caucuses. We're agnostic. We believe that they all have a purpose and what have you. Right. And so he and I are very much on the similar wavelength. And I can't wait to work with him in whatever capacity that I have.
Well, he wants to be on your team.
Yeah. So. In any capacity, even if I don't win chair, my role in the state is not done. If I don't win chair, it is what it is. As my dad would always says, is that God has a greater plan for me. And that's what it is. Even if God's plan was just for me to come on here and try and rally the troops to work together and to show that it is possible, then my job's been done, and I can move forward in helping my candidates, if they hopefully get nominated, to have the best campaign possible and to help with ballot access for Liz and Eric or whoever else gets nominated, because that's the goal here, is making sure that our candidates are on the ballot and that the message is going out there.
There's no question. And it's clear that you're informed and you're passionate, compassionate, empathetic, sympathetic, just all of the above. Avery says, and yeah, please keep this about Kristine. I don't want to steal. Now, you're not stealing the spotlight, man. You're enhancing the opportunity, the moment of what's happening right now, and it's truly special, Avery. That takes, look, you're incredible. Obviously, you're going to make an amazing teammate. I have to show that comment again, right? And so
that just means he's being added to the Joe Solosky and Nicole Schultz team initially. So
clearly. Oh, and let me say this too, real quick. Just side note: Joe Solosky, his pitch is that he is the. Here, let me fix the view here so people can see. Joe Solosky's pitch is that he is the key to Pennsylvania's success. Let me let everyone know who doesn't know already that Nicole Schultz is the key to Joe Solosky's success. And that's all I have to say about that.
You know who came up with that slogan?
I'm wondering if it's Kristine Womack now.
It is Kristine Womack.
That's hilarious. And expected. Oh, and then he put it in there.
See?
Oh, man. That's Kristine's slogan. Kenny says, yeah, go ahead.
To be frank, I was trying to play on his name because it's an interesting last name, and some people may not know how to pronounce it, so it's Solosky.
Yep.
And we are the Keystone State, so I was trying to play on the key aspect. So
no, it was that's hilarious. I had no idea that you did that, but when I saw it, obviously I was like, oh well, that's just playing off his last name, and that's absolutely brilliant. That's incredible. So
Nicole came up with her own slogan.
Oh, really? What was her slogan?
Farming because starvation sucks.
I do like that.
Yeah.
But we'll go with Nicole Schultz as the key to Joe Solosky's success. We're going to stick with that. That's pretty good, though. I like that farming because starving sucks. That's great.
I'll make sure you get a rally sign in March. I'll make sure you get a rally sign that says that in March.
That'll work. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, I would love that. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move to something a little bit different, but something absolutely important is our youth in this country. Right now, they're being absolutely barreled with lies, propaganda, misinformation, and really just outright cultist teaching. How can we reach them and get by and cut through all of this nonsense that we're seeing that's being pumped into our kids, into our teenagers?
So there, if I'm going to be frank, there's no way to really get to the kids because education starts at home. I work in the school district.
Facts.
I'm a substitute in the school district. I see what happens. Our school district is one of the best in the county and the state that I work in and my son goes to. And education starts at home. You can teach them whatever you want in school, but the parents are going to contradict or tell them what they want them to believe. So it's really going to come down to reaching the parents on a level that they understand and can relate to. And it's having those conversations without saying one side is bad, one side is good. It's saying, I can't believe this is happening.
Right.
Or, I can't believe that they're not standing up for this, or I can't believe this happened at the school board meeting. It's having those conversations that can be somewhat awkward at times, but I have them in the lunchroom with some of my coworkers. And I really feel like I've brought a lot of my coworkers into the Libertarian Party without them necessarily knowing that they were coming into the Libertarian Party with their ideals. And that's by having those conversations. Personally, I have not gotten the vaccine. I have no desire to get the vaccine anytime soon, but I also encourage anybody to get it. And I think that's the key here, that want to get it, I should say. I think that's the key is respecting people's beliefs and opinions while still trying to educate them on the other side of the spectrum. And so it's going to be real. Teenagers, you probably could have a little bit more conversation with. I substitute in the elementary school because I don't like teenagers. Too many hormones. My son is 7, so I don't need to deal with the hormones yet. Right. But I think that's the key is reaching the parents and, having those informed conversations so that, they can then have the informed conversations with their kids. My son and I have these conversations all the time. He refers to the Libertarian Party as the girl president party. Because of Jim Jorgensen.
That's funny.
So, he refers to Joe Biden as the sniffer and Trump is, Trump. I think he actually knows him by name, but we have these conversations regarding masks, regarding mandates, regarding the vaccine, regarding, this, we call it the sickness. We have it regarding guns. We have on kid level conversations, but that's how it needs to happen in the different households to reach the kids is giving the parents the education that they need or, to help. I know Oliver will be a teenager one day, but I've got 10 years till that, or, 10 years till that. It's reaching the parents and that's how we educate the kids is by proxy.
Yep. And yeah, so you already got it, but I was going to reinforce it because when you said initially we can't reach the kids, I knew immediately where you were going was we need to reach the parents. And look, especially right now with what we're seeing going on, like with Loudoun County, Virginia, and the whole state of Virginia, and the country just up and on. We got literally FBI trying to label parents going to school boards as domestic terrorists. This is disgusting. And look, I just to backtrack a little bit, I'm also unvaccinated. I'm never getting the jab. It's not that I shouldn't say what I was about to say, so I'm not going to say that. I won't get the jab. I won't get the shot. Right? The discussion around the medical and scientific stuff will leave for another day. There's also a
pill coming out, so just so
there is. Now that pill is supposed to be a therapeutic, but we all well know that there's a lot of money being made right now. So
100%.
We'll leave that at that. But as far as reaching the kids, you got to go through the parents. Mm-hmm. But that's so important right now because there is such an absolute desire and hunger for parents to be involved with their kids, you really have a golden opportunity. I'm talking to everyone in Pennsylvania right now, everyone across the nation, really. But since we have Pennsylvania on the show, we have Miss Kristine on the show, and everybody in the comments pretty much Pennsylvania. You go to your school board meetings, reach out to your parents, speak, talk to them, shake their hands, give them something to go home with that they can say, you know what, there's value in what Kristine just said. There's value in Joe Solosky. I want to find out. If they just go find, that's really the bridge for a lot of this. If we can convince, right now we're talking about parents, convincing parents while you're at school board meetings to just go and look into what Pennsylvania is offering within the Libertarian Party, you will garner votes. Absolutely.
And that's a key to having good candidates. And obviously I'm going to speak highly of Joe and Nicole and Liz and stuff, but that's the key to having good candidates who can give good messaging. You know, a lot of these caucuses are all about bold messaging and what have you. And a lot of that messaging needs to come from candidates, because no one wants to hear Joe Schmo talk about it because it's just some guy on the corner who's spewing stuff. But to hear that Tim McMaster, who is nominated by his counties, speaking on the news about libertarian platforms and having a website you can go directly to. For the record, Tim McMaster is not running again this year because they redistricted everything and he's no longer in that district. But anyway, but you being able to have a resource that's not just go to our political party page and see what we as a whole party, but see how this individual feels and they are a representative of the party is going to give them that resource. So making sure that you have, and I'm going to go on my campaign manager speak for a second.
No, go ahead. Run it.
Having a good web address, one that's easy and quick to remember, like joesolosky.com, NicoleSchultz.com, Tim for PA, I think was one of his, sometimes it's good to have multiple, is having those quick resources so that when you're out at a school board meeting, and I do encourage everyone to go to them. We got a lot of school board directors elected this past year in Pennsylvania. And I know some people are like, ooh, school board. That's where we want people that are libertarians right there helping to guide, yes, it's government funded education, but if we can have someone in there that's helping to guide the way that the school is moving, that's a key. And so being at those school boards and standing up against mandates by the school district, shows one side, but also being sympathetic to the, sickness. Sorry, it's habit of calling it that.
No, it's good.
And encouraging, the choice to wear a mask and talking about the, the believed science behind it. I did not get sick last year. I will say that. I did not get sick with the flu or the stomach bug, all that crap that goes around elementary schools.
Right.
And part of that is because we did wear masks during school. It did help prevent some things. But, people still get sick from COVID, even though they wear masks. So, there's pros and cons. And being able to have those conversations and admit that you could be wrong and they could be wrong are the way that you build trust. And that they'll come and be interested in at least checking out your candidates or checking out your party page to see what you stand for. And maybe you won't agree with them on everything. That's okay. There's not. I was a Republican. I unfortunately voted for John McCain. I have bad ways that have happened to me. I still believe in some of what the Republican Party says they stand for. Let me say it that way. But right. I believe in a lot more of what the Libertarian Party stands for and the goals that they want to set forth. You're never going to 100% agree with something, but to find the commonalities that you can is where you're going to be able to move forward and make change. And that's what we need to focus on when we're talking to people.
I think you really just dropped the mic on it right there, because that's excellent. I really, my next question would be, once you get the state of after hearing that, after you get the state of Pennsylvania carried on, moving forward, as you pick up, really you're picking up a major torch and you're filling heavy shoes with Jen Moore. When you get done with that, when are you running for public office? Because you're obviously fit for this.
Well, I appreciate that sentiment. I feel like I have a better spot in helping to raise other people up to make them be the best person that they can be.
I feel that.
I do not like being in the spotlight most of the time. There's things that I do and I pay for it out of pocket for PTO. And instead of putting Kristine did this, it's the PTO did this, because that's what it's about at the end of the day. It's not about self-glorification. It's about putting the team forward. And that's my goal here, is showing the state who we are and what we can do when we come together as a team. So,
absolutely.
I have no desire to run for office. Let me correct that. I have considered running for school board, but I would not be able to work in the school district. So, while being on the school board. So that is not something that's happening anytime in the near future. So.
Well, if it helps at all, I am not going to run for school board, most likely, but there is a high chance I will be speaking at a school board in Mississippi that has mask mandates. So that ought to be fantastic for them. Let me just say that.
The problem with me speaking at school boards is that the school that my son goes to is the district I work in. So I have to be very selective in what I say and what I do. But I make it known in other ways that I work within the district.
Yep.
That's a very accurate statement, by the way.
It is a very accurate statement. Oh, let me read it for those who have not are not watching it right now. They're going to listen to it later. So Phoenix O'Brien says, in regards to our short paragraph of conversation just now, those who do not want office are the ones who are the best suited to be in office. Unless you're like me, where you have double-digit criminal charges and still don't want to be in office. So hard pass, but I'm pretty sure Kristine Womack is built for the gig. Let's get into a couple of comments here before we log off, because we're at an hour, but this has been an amazing conversation. A lot of people came and tuned in. It's been fantastic. So let's see. James, I'm not even going to try. Well, I guess I will try. Paracelia. Kristine's experience and character speaks volumes. She has my full support for chair. So if you were to run for office, I would have my full support for Kristine in U.S. Congress.
Oh, goodness, no. Heavens, no. Heavens, no.
State Senate.
No.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just trying to be antagonizer here. Luke, my friend, my man, homie. Let's keep it about Kristine and the momentum of PA. Don't need the division. That's probably in regards to the comment section. My bad. And Joe, with the last one in, we need Kristine to continue our great leadership. And it looks like if Kristine is elected to office, you absolutely will continue the success that is. Joe says I'll vote for Kristine for Congress too. So it looks like you're boxed into a corner there, Kristine. Just be expecting that in the next few years, whatever your role is within PA, it might get a little bit larger as people bombard you with the desire to run for office. So as we close it out here, give us your final thoughts on what it is to mean, what it is to you that it means to be the state chair of Pennsylvania, which is like the leading libertarian state and always in the news when it comes to elections. We have such a huge paramount on Pennsylvania. Give us your thoughts on being the state chair of the third largest party there, and then just give us your thoughts as a whole as we enter 2022. What's best for you and what's best for Pennsylvania?
That's a lot to take in just a short period.
Sorry.
All of those questions. I want to start off by saying first that I understand my plate is full. I reached out to my husband and my candidates. I had a bunch of people approach me about running for chair. And I thought about it, but I knew that my campaigns take precedent. So I reached out to my husband and my candidates for their support before doing this. And I have their supports. And I think that's key to be said here, is that this proves that it's teamwork that helps everything to be successful. And, continuing to the momentum that Jen and those before me have set forth is crucial. And that is my goal, is to make sure that we maintain ballot access and minor party status, while also building the bridge across the state and getting our counties to work together, I think is the way that we help to build those bridges. It's not going to happen overnight. We're going to make mistakes and we're going to learn from them. we are a political party, the third largest in the country, and Rome wasn't built overnight, and there is infighting, and we need to move past that. We need to realize who the true devil here is, and that's the duopoly, and we need to work together in fighting them. I heard Spike say one time that the reason for the infighting is that we have a culture of losing, and we are so quick to find who to blame for that losing. And what we need to do is we need to focus on the positives, the win. The 176 libertarians that were elected to offices of mayor, council members, auditors, constables, school board directors, inspector of elections, those are the offices that will turn into sheriffs, into other mayors, into state representatives, into congressional races, and to governors. And that's what we need to focus on. Not all of the little negative stuff, because those will always be there. We just need to focus on the things that we are completing and accomplishing. And by doing that, we'll find common ground to work on making this even a better party, and not just in Pennsylvania with elected libertarians, but across the country.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. That was a great ending statement. Kristine, thank you so much for coming on tonight and spending over an hour here.
Thank you for having me on. We got a little bit of a slow start because of technical difficulties, but I do appreciate everything that you do for the party and to help spread liberty, and for having me on. I know that this is a Pennsylvania race and not necessarily, Cajun. But
saying about me,
just so everyone knows, everyone's welcome at Pennsylvania's convention. You can come and have a good time. Joe and Spike and Cajun are going to be there. Tom Woods and Dave Smith are going to be there. Liz Terwilliger. Oh, I said her name right.
You did. You nailed it that time. Yeah, perfect. Liz Terwilliger.
Are going to be speaking, and Sam Robb is going to be speaking, and my husband's going to be speaking. So there's a lot of great opportunity for some knowledge and resources to happen. I think Avery might be speaking too, so there's that.
Oh, nice. Is Justin Amash going to be there?
Oh my gosh, how can I forget Justin Amash? Justin Amash is going to be there. So we have a really stellar lineup, and it's in Williamsport, which is like nice central in the state, and is the Little League home Hall of Fame. So that's kind of cool there too. So, I encourage everyone, if you can make it out, to make it out. And I hope to meet everyone. I can't wait to meet you. I mean, we've had multiple conversations. But I can't wait to actually officially meet you. So.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't meet the last time I was in PA.
I was, when you were at Perspectives of Freedom, I actually took my son to his first real concert. We went to Uprise Festival.
Nice.
We went to Uprise Festival out in Shippensburg. So he got to go to a whole festival as his first real concert. So I felt like that was more important of my time, not to put aside Liz's thing. But you don't get those moments. And so I try to embrace them. My son will always come first.
But that's very important, because you're prioritizing your values. And one of your high values is spreading liberty and getting real change put in office. And so that's really just a testament to your character and integrity, that you would put off the Perspectives of Freedom and do that for your son. That's amazing. That was the right call. And so I can't wait to see you in Pennsylvania, you and your husband.
You'll get to meet Oliver. Oliver will be there. So
nice. I was going to ask if your son was going to be there. So
he will be there. He's very excited. He's very excited to meet Spike officially. He's had phone calls with him and he's had messages with him, but because of all my time traveling with Spike when he was in Pennsylvania and other times that we worked together, he's never really got to meet him. So he's like, I get to meet Spike. So
that's incredible. That's a funny comment by Avery. This is what I expected when I go to these places. This would be my 5 or 6 convention to go to. I actually expect what Avery says here. I remember not recognizing Cajun at Perspectives on Freedom and just awkwardly nodding at him. That's actually what I expect. So when I walk in and there's 5 or 6 people, oh man, that's Cajun. I don't expect that. I'm totally cool with you right there, Avery. Thank you, man, because that's exactly how I feel it should go. And again, we have an important duty to do, in Pennsylvania, and one of those things is to elect the best chair for that state, well, in that state convention. And Kristine, you have obviously shown out and shown off tonight. It looks like I only have one other candidate to really interview. I know you said that the John guy was running, but he's told me before when I was in PA he ran for something else, but he never really seriously ran for it.
I love John, and he does good work within the states.
Right.
But he likes to put his name into a lot of things to show that he's willing to step up and volunteer, which is great to show that, you have that willingness to step up where it's possible. So, and this was one area that he wanted to step up, primarily because Rob didn't have anyone running against him at that time, too. Okay. So, libertarian mindset, no one should run uncontested. So, right. But John's a good guy, and if you want to have him on, I think it would be great. Just like, I encourage to have Avery on as well. So
I met John when I was up there last time, Waldenberger. I was struggling with that. Yeah. Nice guy. But for the serious contenders, it looks like it's down to you and one other person who I will be interviewing within the next week. So best of luck to you. I will be there to see who wins. I can't wait to meet you in person and your husband and your son. And if there's anything else you want to plug before we get out of here, get it.
I would just encourage anybody who has the ability to financially do a donation to joesolowski.com or NicoleSchultz.com. Running a campaign is not cheap, and especially setting up for a convention when you're getting lanyards and literature and merch and everything. It's not an inexpensive feat, and we are trying to take over the duopoly. So all that money will go towards that cause.
Perfect. That's amazing, Kristine. I will see you in literally just a few weeks.
Yeah, literally a month.
Yeah, one month away from now.
1 month from today.
Yeah, so have a great evening. I'll talk to you very soon, and thank you so much for coming on. You are awesome. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, you too. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
That was an incredible conversation. I can't thank Kristine enough for coming on. Let me get that off of there. I'll put it back up for 1 second. So if you go to Facebook and just hit the @ in Kristine Womack, that should pop right up. Go ahead and give her a follow. Go check out the pages. All of that, check her out. Obviously, she had a fantastic time tonight, and we had a great conversation. And so, but if you want to learn more, go to Kristine Womack for LPPA Chair on Facebook. Just hit the @ button in the search engine, Kristine Womack, and it'll pop right up. Follow her. Other than that, can't thank her enough for being on tonight. That was awesome. I had a great time. Love you guys. I will see you same Cajun time, same Cajun channel on Monday night. Be ready because I have something apparently very special that I just found out today going on. Probably not nearly as special as tonight, but pretty special. So make sure you tune in for that. I will see you again, same Cajun time, same Cajun channel, Monday night. I love y'all very much. I'll see you then.